Travis Wingutso. Mormons believe Jesus Christ was born 6 April 1 AD. And they base that belief on the Doctrine and Covenants passage, which says, in the year of our Lord, the Church of Jesus Christ is established. What if I were to throw in that the Book of Mormon says that Jesus would be born 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem in 597 BCE? 600 years is not 1 AD. 4 CE. So, which would you choose? Would you stick to the Doctrine and Covenants to form your belief for the birth of Jesus? Or would you say, well, the Book of Mormon is the keystone, I probably should conform and comply to the Book of Mormon, which is the keystone of Mormonism? Which is it? Or maybe you're an ex-Mormon who says, yeah, it's all wrong, it's all a fraud. Is knowledge based on our opinions? Whatever we choose, that's what truth is? Well, all of it is wrong. Oh, you sneeze. Oy vey. Oy vey. Oy vey. Because you did not use the scientific process. You just read the two passages from Mormon scripture and made your choice. Maybe your choice was based on peer pressure. Well, all the Mormons you know believe in 1 CE, so you just go along with it because you don't want to be picked on. You don't want to be called Korahor, Antichrist, and chased out of the church because you don't believe as they do. You don't believe in logical argument. Scientific process is the pursuit of real knowledge. Logical argument is the pursuit of truth. They have rules as to how to play, and if you don't play by the rules, you will not come to a true knowledge. You will not learn the truth. You can't take your belief that you chose and force science and truth to accept your belief. That's how holy wars get started. And in fact, that's how a holy war has already begun. Because Christians believe Magog is Russia. They believe Ezekiel 38, that the last day's war will be in Magog. Ezekiel 38. And Bruce R. McConkie agrees with Christians. His belief chose to accept the Christian belief. That Jesus is coming in the midst of that war in Ukraine. And so, yeah, Christians refuse to give aid. They support Putin. Not because they want Putin to rule over them. They know that Jesus is coming because of their beliefs. And that Jesus will smite down Putin. But this war that Putin started is divinely inspired by Jesus. to bring Jesus into the world, to conquer the world's kingdoms. Even the church believes this. And I've done the videos on the church's role in bringing this war about. You cannot be wicked and claim righteous. So here's a twist, if you haven't been watching my videos. We read in 3 Nephi chapter 11, as Mormons believe this is literal history. They don't tell us they're fake. They don't tell us they're fictional characters. They don't tell us they're apocalyptic literature. Book of Revelation, Book of Apocalypse. And so Mormons believe this is literal history. And so in 3 Nephi chapter 11, and now it came to pass that there were a great multitude gathered together of the people of Nephi round about the temple, which was in the land Bountiful. And they were marveling and wondering one with another, and were showing one to another the great and marvelous change which had taken place. And they were also conversing about this Jesus Christ, of whom the sign had been given concerning his death. What sign? Oh, well, there's a footnote, 2a. Whew! Heaven forbid we have to read the whole book and find out what that sign of Samuel was. Helaman chapter 14, verse 20. And then again, repeated in 3 Nephi chapter 8. We're still waiting for the sign of his birth. But you don't believe that, because you believe this is literal history, and that the sign of his birth already occurred 1 AD or 4 AD. I don't know any Mormon who believes 4 AD. Maybe there's some apologist who throws out the debate and throws in that Herod the Great died in 7 BCE. And so they're Mormon, peer-reviewed by Mormons, to say, well, we know the truth, it's 1 AD. Science is wrong, and eventually science will figure it out. No, science is neutral. We have to conform to the rules of science. You know, like the law of gravity. You can't keep jumping off a building and believing that you're going to eventually defy the law of gravity. I hate to disappoint you. There are other conditions that need to be involved. For example, parachutists have a machine that you can test on. And there's one here in Utah, I understand, where wind is blown up to support you, and you can learn how to parachute that way. But again, it's not defying the laws of science. It's just including another factor to allow you to fly. Do you see the difference? I hope so. I don't want to see Mormons jumping off buildings, because you're going to die. And if you're wondering, well, where are you getting this from, Travis? Well, Simon & Simon. I've been watching Simon & Simon lately. They had a psychologist who was drugging people for the DOD to create super soldiers through steroids. And it was causing people to believe they could fly. Rick Simon almost flew off the building. Oh, AJ saved him. You know. But yeah, you don't want to be fooled. And we are told in the scriptures that in the latter days there will be false Christs and false prophets. Well, there's only one Christ, Jesus, right? And he says, verse 10, behold, I am Jesus Christ, whom the prophets testified shall come into the world. Now, wait a minute, they don't have the footnote reference to Acts chapter 3, right? Because Joseph Smith refers to that and says that is the Christ. You've read your scriptures, you know this, right? Nephi, you believe him as Moroni, that Joseph Smith is wrong. So you've chosen to believe it's Moroni, not Nephi, as Joseph Smith said. And you know by the Spirit of God that Joseph Smith is wrong. You bear witness and testimony of it, that Joseph Smith is wrong, it's Moroni. And he refers us to Acts in regards to the latter days. Verse 22 and 23. For Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren like unto me. Him shall ye hear in all things whatsoever he shall say unto you. And then in verse 24, yea, and all the prophets from Samuel and those that follow after, as many as have spoken, have likewise foretold of these days. So that's Jesus. Because you believe it's Jesus, Book of Mormon says Jesus, therefore this is Jesus. And look, verse 26 confirms your belief. Unto you first God, having raised up his Son, Jesus. Confirmed. So I'm wrong, Joseph Smith is wrong. Wait a minute, Joseph Smith is wrong? Well, yeah. You said he's wrong. Moroni, your spiritual witness testifies that Joseph Smith is wrong. Uh-oh. You've now testified that the Book of Mormon is wrong, and now you've testified that Joseph Smith is wrong. Uh-oh. What do we do? 2 Nephi, chapter 3. In verse 15, his name shall be called after me, which is Joseph, from the context. Lehi is talking to his son Joseph, giving him a blessing, talking about Joseph of Egypt, and quotes from the brass plates, because it's literal history. And his name shall be called after me, and it shall be after the name of his father. Well, that's Joseph Smith. All Mormons know this. But wait a minute. He shall be great like unto Moses. We just read from Acts that the man like Moses is the Christ. That Joseph Smith himself said that the man like Moses is that Christ. Not Jesus. This is Joseph Smith. Uh-oh. Oh, crap. Whom I said I would raise up unto you. Oh, crap. Another guy after a man like Moses. Well, that must be Jesus. To deliver my people, O house of Israel. Oh, wait a minute, we're not done. And Moses will I raise up. Oh, crap. 3 people. One is Moses, and the other 2 are men like Moses. And Joseph Smith is a man like Moses. And Joseph Smith says that that man is Christ. Now, do you understand where false Christs in the plural comes from? No? Still not yet? Well, how about this from the Book of Mormon? 1 Nephi, chapter 1, verse 2. Yea, I make a record in the language of my father, which consists of the learning of the Jews and the language of the Egyptians. So what is the learning of the Jews concerning the Christ? Oh, you're just going to choose your belief system, Jesus, of the Christians. Really? That's the learning of the Jews concerning the Christ, huh? This is the keystone of Mormonism, and it's telling us at the very beginning of the book that whenever you see Jesus, you're supposed to decode it as the learning of the Jews. Because Moses is the Christ of the Jews. And so men like Moses, one of which being Joseph Smith, are also Christs. Joseph Smith is the founder of Mormonism. Joseph Smith is the founding Christ of Mormonism. This is the teaching of the Book of Mormon, of whom all the prophets testified. And yes, there's another. So who could that be? Certainly Joseph is wrong as our founding Christ. Or are you still believing in Jesus? That Joseph Smith is wrong. Section 103 of the Doctrine and Covenants, talking about the redemption of Zion. Verse 16, therefore I will raise up unto my people a man. Who's my people in this context? Mormons. Mormons. Who is my people in this context by Joseph Smith? Yeah, Mormons. A Mormon shall be born and raised in the church. A male, not a female. Christ is not coming in the form of a woman. Though there is an awesome picture that somebody transposed over Jesus Christ coming from the sky, put a woman's face on it. But again, you can't use your beliefs to change reality. Because there is no Jesus. Not according to the learning of the Jews, which the Book of Mormon says that's our kind of Christ. Who shall lead them like as Moses. There he is, from the Book of Mormon. Joseph Smith. You believe Joseph? Well, I guess you don't. Because you're confused by Jesus. And so you pray, and you ponder, and you keep reading, and you find more Jesuses. And so your spiritual witness says, yeah, it's Jesus. Travis is wrong. Travis is an antichrist. He's a Korahor. He's anti-Mormon. He's trying to destroy you. Who took who away from the knowledge of a Christ? That which you falsely accuse in another reveals the same and worse fault in yourself. That's from the beam and mote by Jesus. And so, what happened? What went wrong? Well, you didn't do your research. You just read, pondered, and prayed, and whatever you chose to believe in is now the truth. And everything else must conform to your truth, or else it's wrong. And so you don't believe in the first vision. Verse 19, as the sun at noonday talks to Joseph Smith, you impose Jesus. But Jesus, as you believe, in verse 19, answers that Joseph must join none of the Christian churches, for they are all wrong. And the personage, Jesus, who addressed me, said that all their creeds were an abomination in his sight. So you've done your research, right? There's no footnote for it. Uh-oh, what do we do? Oh no, what's a creed? What's the first creed? Are you even doing the research? Or did you just say, nope, it's Jesus. I don't need to know, because I know the truth. I can be saved in ignorance and call it truth. You're bearing false witness, by the way. You don't have a knowledge. You have a belief, and you made your choice based on your belief. You denied science. You denied logical argument. You didn't bother to research that the first creed of Christianity was by Emperor Constantine in 325 AD CE. The Council of Nicaea with the Nicene Creed. Well, what was that all about? Because you're not going to look it up. You might find out the truth, and the truth will destroy your belief systems, and you'll go into a faith crisis, and then you'll be groomed by John DeLynn. Don't want that. Definitely don't want that. I keep warning ex-Mormons, because ex-Mormons do the same thing. They were born and raised Mormon too. So they, sorry guys, now I've turned you against me. I'm speaking against your truth. But you pulled the same stunt. You know, you hear from reading somebody that says that Joseph Smith had a rock in a hat. And so you say, yeah, I knew the Book of Mormon was a fraud. He just made it up off the top of his head from claiming to look at a rock in a hat. And so then you say, yeah, that's why there's plagiarism in the Book of Mormon, because Joseph Smith had access to all those books, and he read Captain Kidd and the Great War, or the Late War, etc., 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 and you deny science. Yes, ex-Mormons, you're denying science too. Because you should have heard, if you are actually reading, there's even a video series from the Ex-Mormon Foundation, that Sidney Rigdon is the major author of the Book of Mormon through linguistic scientific research. Now, Mormons deny it, because that goes against their belief. Joseph Smith translated by the gift and power of God. It's a literal history. The plates were real. And so you're evil. You're Korahor. And you argue back, you know, Joseph Smith made it up because it was a rock and a hat, dumbasses. And you never come to a knowledge of the truth. Oh, hey, that's from Isaiah. Well, Sidney Rigdon is the major author of the Book of Mormon. Well, how can that be? He didn't get baptized. He didn't know about the Book of Mormon until December of 1830. Oh, I don't know. I better let my spiritual witness beliefs decide what is truth. I will say what is truth, rather than search for the truth using scientific methodology and logical argument to form your premises for the theory test. Don't deny science. I have an atheist who's conflicted with me, who keeps saying Joseph Smith is wrong, the Book of Mormon is a fraud. They're not listening. They're letting their beliefs dictate their truth. And they're an atheist because they know the church isn't true, so therefore it's atheism. And so Joseph Smith is a fraud, the Book of Mormon's a fraud. See, even if you're an ex-Mormon, I'm not going to allow just any comment. There are only a select few who automatically get approved. There are still those who throw out anti-science, anti-truth comments, even though they claim they are supporting me in my videos. I don't want you to choose me for your beliefs. The whole purpose of this is so that you see how to do research for yourself. I do these hours-long videos on church history characters, demonstrating how to do research. And I just did it again in this video. For Jesus! So yes, Constantine created Jesus. All the bishops had a different Christ. That was the one thing they could not agree on. They couldn't decide who their Christ would be. They couldn't decide thus which name he would have. And thus they couldn't decide the nature and character of their Christ. And yes, there were those who believed in apocalyptic literature. There was a future after the learning of the Jews that was rejected. And the name Jesus, which is the reverse of Isaiah, was chosen over Isaiah's prophesied name of Emmanuel. Thus the problems in Matthew. So this was my field of study, this was my education, this is my experience, this is my expertise. And so when I get a comment from a Mormon saying that a particular book confirms that America is Zion, yeah, I did not allow his comment. I mean, it was a harmless one. It just says there's a great book by an LDS author that shows that there's perfect harmony between the prophetic statements concerning the Garden of Eden being in Missouri and the Old Testament account concerning the Garden of Eden. No. Nope. Let me do a quick check here. I meant to do that because it apparently is only available on eBorn. but let me check before I make a comment. Extended delivery time due to weather in your area? No, we got good weather. Tomorrow, yeah, but not today. And it won't be bad because the weather will be too warm. Hey. Okay, hold on. The algorithm program of Amazon sucks, so you get a cooking book. Yeah. Nope, not available on Amazon. So it's exclusively through a Mormon bookseller. I'm not giving you the title. Nope. Not going to encourage you to purchase this book, which is nonsense. You should have caught on by now. The Red Flags of Falsehood. 1, LDS author, so it shows bias. He has to conform and comply to the beliefs of Mormonism, which I've already shown you Mormons are wrong on beliefs of Mormonism. So we can't trust him. 2, he doesn't say it, but it's peer-reviewed by a Mormon. Another red flag. Self-fulfilling by someone who shares the same beliefs. You don't go to someone to share your beliefs to confirm truth. That is not logical. That is not using the scientific process. And then only uses the Mormon publisher, who refuses to put it on Amazon. There is nothing on Academia for other scholars outside of Mormonism to review it and make comments. Wonder why. And so this Mormon, he got his comments deleted. He wasn't being mean or abusive, so I didn't ban him from my channel. Can you imagine that? A Mormon who claims to be Mormon, who believes in Jesus, the God of love, with the one and only commandment of love, that Mormons would be hateful and spiteful and condemning and using ad hominem attacks on people just because they don't believe in Mormons' beliefs? Huh. Something's weird about that, Mormons. But he uses on the cover of his book a Mesopotamian clay tablet. Again, it's popular Mormon belief that Abraham came from Babylon. Babylon did not exist during the time frame in which the Bible setting sets it up for. Babylon did not exist until prior to 600 BCE. There was a coup of the Assyrian Empire as the Babylonian marsh people rose up and established a stronghold, and so they immediately conquered the Assyrian capital and then went through the whole territory of Assyria and into Jerusalem to establish tributary routes to them now. We have conquered, we're now your boss, you give tribute to us now. That's what they did. That's what happened in the first year of the reign of King Zedekiah. Zedekiah was put on by Babylon, replacing the old king, putting on a new one who would supposedly be loyal to Babylon and give tribute to Babylon. Oops! And so therefore the Book of Mormon is true. It's literal history because it involves literal history, which we can read about in the Bible, as well as the Mesopotamian documents. No. Joseph Smith rendered a partial translation in what's called the Book of Abraham. And in chapter 1, see if I can find it. Discovered by a woman. Okay. Verse 25. Now the first government of Egypt was established by Pharaoh, the eldest son of Egyptus, and Mormon apologists all argue and fight with ex-Mormons about this, and Egyptologists, I am shocked and horrified Egyptologists don't know this. The daughter of Ham, and it was after the manner of the government of Ham, which was patriarchal. Pharaoh, being a righteous man, established his kingdom and judged his people wisely. I did this explanation in the Sunday school lessons for you. Judged justly all his days, seeking earnestly to, pay attention, imitate that order established by the fathers in the first generation, in the days of the first patriarchal reign, even in the reign of Adam, and also of Noah, his father, who blessed him with the blessings of the earth and blessings of wisdom, but cursed, pay attention, ex-Mormons, him as pertaining to the priesthood. Cursed as pertaining to the priesthood. Cursed as pertaining to the priesthood. Ex-Mormons know what I mean by this. Mormons should know too, but you can't pick and choose your belief systems, guys. Egypt is the origin, confirmed by science. Mesopotamia came from Egypt, migrating out. They took the cultures, traditions, religions, rituals, beliefs, and moved out, branched out throughout the world from Egypt, the first origin of religion. And they changed it. They changed the language. They changed the names, therefore. They changed the texts from Scripture to conform to their new belief systems that are different than the Egyptians. And over the course of many millennia, we now have Christianity and Buddhism and Hinduism and Islam and even Judaism, etc., 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 and they're all wrong because they're not Egyptian in origin. That's where they came from, but it's called de-evolution. Not evolutionary theory. They just changed things, took out things, added things. They altered the origin. And so when you read in Mark, we're going to this. We're bringing up 19 July 1840 by Joseph Smith. Because you're looking it up, right? Oops. Mark, the god of war. Didn't you just do a thing that Nelson is the god of war, Mars? Yes, I did. It's further down here, isn't it? Is it I? Another is it I? Okay, there's the kiss, the Judas kiss. So it's before that. Okay, so he breaks the bread and said, "This is my body." The broken body. Where is his body broken? Oh, right, Egyptians. There it is it I? And so here, at the Last Supper, with the broken body and the blood spilt. And so Jesus says, "One of you which eateth with me shall betray me." And they began to be sorrowful, and said unto him, and to say unto him, one by one, "Is it I?" And another said, "Is it I?" This is the quorum of 12. Just as the quorum of the 12 with Brigham Young in the audience, listening to Joseph Smith quote from this. But he says, not one of you is going to betray me. Many in this audience. But Joseph Smith is wrong. Brigham Young did nothing wrong. He's the good guy. His church is true. True succession has the keys of Peter, not the keys of Moses. Section 107, verse 91. And then, of course, the Kirtland Temple incident, where the God Yah, Moses, God of salvation, comes to Joseph Smith, giving him the keys. Even Jesus, I believe, came. Of Isaiah. And so when I do my videos, it is not based on my personal feelings and belief systems. All of this was done through this exact same process. And I take you on that journey with me. And so for those of you who just refuse to believe just because it doesn't conform to your belief system, you're the danger. Because you're threatening me to believe as you believe and to do videos according to your beliefs, or you're not going to like me. And you're going to spread the word that I'm the bad guy and that I shouldn't be listened to, that I should be cancel cultured. You guys just don't get it.